Hello again, my name's Gabe Zolna. This is the 10th of January 2019. Coming back from the gym this morning playing 3 games of racquetball. Caught a little bit of KFYI. In the talking heads, we're talking about the Hacienda nursing home. And what they said is that they're requesting DNA samples from all the employees. Don't know if they kept records. I would imagine they kept records of who visited various patients. They're going to request DNA samples from those individuals as well. Now, DNA samples have to be done on a voluntary basis. You can't force someone to do it unless you get a court order. So if there are some employees that refuse to give up their DNA, these would be male employees, then again the authorities can go to a judge and request that he or she order those individuals to provide a DNA sample. I posted a video on this earlier, and I talked about one of my neighbors having run a nursing home for 30 years. And it makes absolutely zero sense that this facility should be allowed to remain open based on their negligence. And I suspect that this wasn't an isolated incident. I don't think that whoever had sex with the comatose patient who's in a vegetative state impregnated her on their first encounter. I mean, it's possible. But here's what doesn't make any sense, and I made mention of this in my previous video. When nursing homes look after patients, they're supposed to look after patients. And by that, they monitor everything about them. Their weight, which is an important, critical issue. If the weight starts to go down unexpectedly, then there's a cause that caused it to go down. The same applies in reverse. Now, the woman would be menstruating once a month. Someone would have to change her pads. They couldn't help but notice her stomach starting to bulge out. You can see women that are pregnant 4 or 5 months and they don't show a whole lot, but you're not going to find a woman that's about to give birth that doesn't show a whole lot. And again, she would be cared for. She would be bathed, but we assume every day. And if that's true, how could they not have noticed? They might want to focus in on the caregivers that provided her with that type of care. Article in Fox News. The CEO of Arizona Care Facility where women in vegetative state reportedly gave birth resigns. I assume that he gave a DNA sample on the way out. Bill Timmons, the CEO of Hacienda Healthcare, announced his resignation effective immediately Monday. The facility's board of directors accepted his resignation without opposition, NBC News reported. Let's hope that all those board members that are male also provided their DNA. In a statement, Gary Orman, the executive vice president of the board, said Hacienda Healthcare will accept nothing less than a full accounting of this absolutely horrifying situation. An unprecedented case that has devastated everyone involved, from the victim and her family to Hacienda staff at every level of our organization, according to the news station. Quote, and we will do everything in our power to ensure the safety of every single one of our patients and our employees, Orman added. Again, this facility should be shuttered. They obviously didn't look after that patient and who knows how many others. The woman who has been in a vegetative state since she allegedly almost drowned nearly a decade ago recently gave birth on December 29th. On the radio, the talking head said that she was actually rushed to the hospital because they were having a real concern about both her and the baby were in distress. It was also reported that they're both doing fine. A source familiar with the situation previously told AZ Family that none of the staff were aware that she was pregnant until she was pretty much giving birth. Well, I don't believe that that's true. How could they not have been aware? And if they weren't aware, then again, they were negligent of their duties and responsibilities. Someone had to change her pad every month. Someone had to notice that she was no longer menstruating. From what I've been told, she was moaning, and they didn't know what was wrong with her, the source said. Her identity hasn't been reported, and it's not known if she has a family or a guardian. The situation has prompted local authorities to investigate the facility for possible sex abuse. What's with the possible sex abuse? Huh? AZ Family reported. The Arizona Department of Health Services is also expected to inspect the facility. A spokesman told the New York Times a new protocol that was reportedly put in place at the facility since the birth requires male staff needing to enter a female room to bring a female employee with them. A little bit late. That's like locking the barn door after the horses are all gone. The facility received a below average health inspection rating in 217 according to the Medicare website. Now that by itself is additional cause to have this facility shuttered. A spokesman for Hacienda Healthcare did not immediately return Fox News' request for comments on Tuesday. Well, you all sort of know what I think. And you might want to get a hold of your local representative and demand that this facility is shuttered. They can't come up with sufficient excuses. Again, she would have stopped menstruating. That had to have been noticed. She would have had to have gained weight. That had to have been noticed if they were doing their due diligence, which they weren't, which is why the facility needs to be shuttered. Tell me where I'm wrong. You might want to repost this in all your social media accounts. You might want to pass it along to like-minded friends and ask them to do the same. Absolutely disgusting. Thanks for listening.